Hi there, everybody. My name is Rusty May. Welcome to Connecting in the Virtual Classroom, the Virtual Classroom Show. Steve and I had talked about doing a show where we could discuss on a weekly basis some of the challenges that are facing all of us who have been put in this situation, and to talk a little bit about how we could manage that more effectively. And so I want to thank everybody for being here, and I would like to start the meeting by opening up your mic and kind of getting an idea of why you're here and how things are going for you so far. My name is Rusty May. I'm a school counselor by trade, and my professional interest over the last 17 years has been trying to help teachers connect in the concrete classroom. And when this situation happened, I became very, very interested in trying to help the teachers who I work with to manage the transition and the challenges, and obviously the insecurities and the emotionality of the situation. And it's been a privilege and an honor to work with teachers all around the United States and other parts of the world, to be a part of the process of helping them to do the heroic work that they're doing. And so I appreciate you being here today, and the information that I bring you out of complete respect and honor for the work that you're doing, and not as a way of trying to tell you what works or what doesn't, but to share some ideas that hopefully will help you as you continue to move forward in this process. So, as I said, I would like to unmute each one of you individually as we get started here, and have an opportunity to have you give me an idea of where you are, and sharing with us what's going on with you as we move forward. Some of the names on the site aren't that, some of you don't have your names up there, so I may unmute you, and I may mispronounce your name, and I apologize in advance if I do, but please forgive me. So just kind of give me an idea of where you're coming from, and why you joined us today, and some of the challenges that you're facing right now. So the first person that I have is Rachel. I'm going to unmute you. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate it. So just trying to get a sense of where you're coming from, what your situation is.
Awesome. I'm in New York. I work at an organization called Prisma, the Center for Jewish Day School. So we are a hub for collecting all sorts of data and resources for about 350 schools all around North America.
Okay, fantastic. Are you in the city itself?
I'm in Long Island.
Okay, so how is it for you? Are you seeing the effects on a daily basis?
Yes.
Okay, so it must be very challenging.
It is.
Okay.
Staying positive though.
Okay, yeah, I know. It seems like you've got a governor who is trying his hardest to make sure that New York is taken seriously, and I appreciate all the effort that the New Yorkers are doing in that regard. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Professor Dinesh. I can unmute him.
Hello.
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. I am Professor Dinesh Gupta from India. I am
Welcome.
lab science professor in the university.
Okay. And India seems to be kind of a very interesting test case in terms of the low rate of...
Yes. We are at a very safe side and very protective. And
Okay.
all over India, all over world, India is doing very well and supporting other countries also.
Well, great. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Vendela. Are you with us, Vendela?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you joined us today?
How are you this morning?
Good, thank
Tell
you.
you what, I couldn't hear you. Tell me about myself.
Yeah, why'd you join us? Are you working in a school?
I work in a school reading resources in Michigan. And this is a learning opportunity for me, so I am learning.
Okay, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Anna Paula. Paulo. Paula. Ana Paula. I can't get her unmuted.
Hello, good
Yamilet?
morning.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I am from Peru. I work at a binational center, language center. We teach English to, well, speakers of Spanish. And this is a learning opportunity for me.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us. Yamilet, I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah,
Yamilet,
it's correct. Good morning.
good morning.
Yeah, my name is Yamilet. I'm from Cuba, but I'm living in the Pennsylvania, Lancaster. I am paraeducator, teacher assistant in this time with K5. And I am here because I want to learn new things, different experience, and at the same time, I would like to share with my coworker too during our meetings.
Great. Thank you. So where are you? You said you're from Cuba, but you're somewhere else right now?
Yeah, but I have been living here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for 11 years.
Oh, okay. So you're in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah.
Pennsylvania's getting hit pretty hard right now, aren't they?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for the
Okay,
opportunity.
thank you. Suad? Did I get that right, Suad? Are you there? Adrian Cromer?
Yes, hi.
How are you?
Yes, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I come from the Chesapeake Public Library from Virginia, and I'm a librarian. I work with Children's Youth and Family Services Department, and like I said, like a lot of them said that I wanted to kind of learn and be able to bring this information back to my coworkers as well.
Great, thank you very much for what you're doing.
And thank.
Is it Leah, Lizelle?
Good evening here. I'm Lizelle. Lizelle
Hi.
from the Philippines.
Oh, from the Philippines. Okay.
Yes, it's actually 10 in the evening, and I joined the session to learn from others. And at this time, we're trying to begin planning for a new school year, and it's totally new for all of us. So
Okay.
I'm hoping to learn something from you.
Thank you.
From other experiences. Thank you.
Great, and I hope you guys will all share too. If you hear questions and you have answers in the chat room, please share the information because I know that there's a lot more information out there than I have. Maria. Can't get that unmuted. All right.
Hi.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Rusty. Thank you for doing this, and I really appreciate your warm welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. So can you give us a little information about yourself?
Yeah, I'm in Illinois, about 90 miles northwest of Chicago, and I'm a librarian. I work at Rock Valley College. It's a community college, and this is all very new to me. I've been a librarian for many years, but I kind of see a lot of virtual in my future. So this is a great learning opportunity, and I thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being there. Isadkia? Isadka? I don't know, I'm getting that terribly wrong. Let's see. I don't think, oh, he's connecting to audio. Isadki?
Yes, yes.
Hi.
I am from Casablanca,
Oh,
Morocco. Casablanca.
okay. Are you a teacher?
I teach in Hassan II University, physics,
Okay. Thank you for being with us.
chemical engineering.
Tahira? Tahira? Are you here? probably doing something else. Reba Matthews.
Okay. Hello,
How
can
are
you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Fine. I am an educational coach with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, and we support teachers and coach them in reading. I've done online, but now they've all been thrust into it. So I've come on to help them think of more interesting strategies because their kids are disengaged online and they're just doing the same way they did when they were in brick and mortar, and it can't happen.
Right.
So I'm coming on to help them get more strategies, more ideals. And then soon I will be in an augmented reality classroom, and I'll be the avatar supporting students through their work inside of online.
Ready Player One. That sounds like fun. Good luck with you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Let's see. Teddy G.
Hi, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good.
So my name is Teddy. I'm currently an Access Service Manager at SUNY Geneseo, located in upstate New York. My purpose for attending this webinar was to just learn more about helping my students that I used to work with prior to the pandemic and just get a better way of accommodating their needs throughout their academic endeavors.
All right. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Glenn? Hi, Glenn. You there?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm working in Washington, D.C. in a library, and I saw your topic, and so I decided to just sign on and see what you all were talking about.
Great. Thank you very much. Andrew Johnson. Mr. Johnson, are you there?
Hello.
How are you?
Doing all right. I am a high school teacher in Greensboro, North Carolina. Glad to be here.
Great. Thank you very much. Chelsea. Whoops. Where did Chelsea go? There she is. Chelsea, are you there? Alana Johnson. Janet Clark. Oh, let's see, where are we at? Have a few more. How about Melissa Faustini?
Hi, yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for being there. Are you a teacher?
Yes, I teach first grade.
Oh, fantastic. That is kind of my ball. That's my ballpark where I work with elementary. So how's it going? Are you teaching online?
Yes, it's
Okay.
going okay. I teach in Lorraine, so it's a little bit harder for our families to get on computers. So it's been a challenge, but it's just been a new adventure.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
See if I can get Deborah. Whoops. How about Daria? Daria?
Darla, hi.
Darla, sorry.
That's okay. Just say hi to everybody.
Hi.
I do young adult services at the Sarasota County Library System in Sarasota, Florida. And I am in the middle of several programs trying to reach out to the young adults that we served at our library. And it's just a very stressful time. So I'm just trying to learn better skills for myself and the kids we serve at the library.
Great, thank you. Let's see, Deborah, are you there? Deborah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am a branch manager at the Allen County Public Library in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so we are in new uncharted territory with virtual programming and how to help engage our very active community that can no longer come into our buildings. And so I've been enjoying hopping on some of these things that you all are doing so that we can gain some new ideas, because we're not familiar with how to do virtual stuff either. So
Okay. Thank you for being here.
thank you.
Sarah, I see Doretha's back. Hey, Doretha.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
It's 7:15 here, so I'm still trying to get up.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here again.
But looks like it'll be a nice day.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at all the remarks there, and I know my public library here. Well, we have several systems. They're doing a lot more now. They're even going into making their own videos.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. And thank you for, yeah, it's really interesting to see how many library professionals we have on today. That's really neat. Thank you for being here. All right, I think, let's see, we got a couple more. Let's see, Sarah? Okay, Sarah. Karen Jackson? Nope. How about Ashika Brinkley?
Hey, this is Karen.
Oh, hey, Karen. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. I think I'm a first timer. Been retired about a year now, but I'm an instructional technology specialist, and I was actually looking for a job when this whole thing started. So, yeah, I feel like I have skills that I need to use, and I'm not sure how to direct them.
Okay.
But that's kind of a daily choice, you know.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you.
Ashika Brinkley?
Morning.
How are you?
Hi, I'm in Connecticut. I'm a college professor. I teach chemistry and public health, and just trying to get some more skills and supports for myself and students right now. So,
All right.
happy to be here.
Thanks for being here. And is it Rhonda? I should put my glasses on. Is it Rhonda or Rinda?
Rinda.
Rinda Montgomery. Okay.
Hi. I'm in Oregon, and I've been a K-12 administrator for years and years. And last fall was working on some contracts that made me determine I needed to take my side gig to a full-time gig. And as soon as I did that and formed the LLC, the pandemic hit. So none of the contracts got signed. But I've been working in distance and blended and virtual learning for about 20 years, and I always like to learn new things and new approaches.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here today. I may have missed some of you guys. It's interesting how this all pops up, and I guess it goes alphabetically. I don't know exactly how it does it, but it doesn't let me connect with all of you. So I apologize if I missed. I hope I got most of you. But I wanted to, again, just introduce myself. I am a school counselor by trade, have been doing distance learning for the last 17 years. I started with my master's thesis in 2003, creating an online education program to help teachers and students connect in the concrete classroom. And so when this pandemic hit, I wanted to get out there and really talk a lot to teachers and try to help them as much as I could to manage, this significant change that's going on. So what I wanted to talk about today more than anything is the idea of, the idea of connection before content, which is really the driving force of the show. The virtual classroom show is going to be a weekly show that we're going to talk about. But the first thing that we're going to talk about before everything else is the importance of connection before content, and connection first and foremost with yourself. Secondly, with your family and the loved ones that you're caring for and taking care of. And thirdly, with the students that are in your classroom. And I'm hearing so much right now from teachers and educators and librarians, obviously, about the challenges that they're facing. And I can hear the emotionality in your voice. I can hear the emotionality in the sense that I know there are kids out there that need us and I can't get to them, and how am I going to connect with them? And these are all very real things that we need to take into consideration. And as we begin to reopen and begin to think about what needs to be done, especially if this does recycle in October or continues on as being part of the new normal that we're dealing with, how are we going to figure out what needs to be done? Universal internet access for all, using some of the care money that's going out from the government right now to help families in need. There's a number of ways, and we'll talk about those kinds of things in the show, on the show in the weeks to come. But today I really want to talk more about, you know, just how are we managing ourselves? You know, how are we taking care of ourselves? The analogy being when you're on an airplane, and you know they talk about the seatbelt, and all of us kind of laugh. But when they talk about the mask dropping down, please put your mask on first before you help anyone else. And in order for us to be successful, and in order for us to be effective in this situation, it's really, really critical that we're taking care of ourselves first. And as educators and teachers, that's not something that we oftentimes do. We don't normally take ourselves first. We don't normally take ourselves as being the primary. We think about our students. We think about their well-being. We think about what they're going home to. We think about their challenges. And I can hear that in what you're saying and what you're talking about. And I would offer to you that as a counselor and as a mental health professional, the idea of being able to do that, and this is a terrible story, but I think is somewhat important to what we're talking about today, was the lead doctor in New York, the lady that took her own life because of the overwhelming sense of what was happening in New York City, and at some point became overwhelmed by all that, and unfortunately took her own life. And apparently, from what I've read, there wasn't any pre-existing conditions or any sense of that. It was just, there was so much coming at her so fast, and her trying to manage that situation, that it ended up overwhelming her. And our thoughts go out to her family and to everyone that's affected by a tragedy like that. But at the same time, it's important for us to kind of look at that and say to ourselves, yeah, I'm a helping professional. There's a lot of kids out there that need me. There's a lot of kids who need the material that I have, who need to keep moving forward, who need the education. And I hear this so often from teachers talking about, we've got to get this to them. This is so important. I've got seniors that need to graduate. We've got kids going into you know, upper level math classes, and I need to reach them and make sure that they have the curriculum. And my suggestion would be just to take a big giant step back and think about the reality of the situation, that this is a global situation. This is a global pandemic. Nobody is really getting ahead of anyone else. There are, you know, concerns about kids who don't have access to the internet, kids whose parents aren't encouraging them to participate, and so forth, what that's going to look like in the fall. But at this point, we really don't know. And so thinking that far forward and thinking about those kinds of things are taking us out of our ability to be centered and to be prepared and to be in the moment. And that's the only place we can be right now. I don't think certainty is, there's whatever certainty used to be, you know, starting in March of this year, or February, or whenever it happened in the country that you're in, certainty became something that I don't think any of us can really wrap our heads around. And so the idea of taking care of ourselves and making sure that we bring the best possible self that we can into our work on a daily basis is the primary thing that we can do for the kids in our care. And I know that sounds weird, but the primary thing we can do for the kids in our care is buckle our own seatbelt first and find ways to take care of ourselves and to continue to connect as we move forward. And obviously the things that are happening now with the reopening in the United States, and other countries are thinking about reopening as well. And a lot of us are thinking, oh, okay, this is good, or is it good, or how is it going to affect? I was out walking on a path the other day, dirt road behind my house. I live in a very small town, and somebody came running past me, and they ran right past my shoulder and looked at me as they ran past. And I got physically angry. Like, I was instantly upset by, why didn't they social distance? Why didn't they move? And as we begin the process of going out our front door again and begin to re-enter either our classrooms or begin to re-enter the situations that we're going at in work.
Yes, yes, I do. I chose that option once.
What was the difference?
It was like easier to open. Like, it wasn't like, didn't have all that.
Hi, who's there? Can somebody hear me that their mic's on mic? Okay, there we go. So what I'm talking about is the idea that as we begin to reopen and we begin to go back out into the world, there's going to be some challenges, and it's important for us to check our own sense of what's going on before we walk out the door. You know, knowing where we are and kind of getting a sense of where we are, processing our own feelings and noticing where we're at, because, you know, we're going to be, if you're in a big city, if you're in a place like that, and you're going to be concerned about other people doing what you think is appropriate, and whether they're social distancing, and if they're standing too close to you in line. And this is a situation that's going to bring up all of the emotionality of a life or death situation. And it is for a very real, in a very real sense, that's what a lot of us are dealing with. And so it's something that, as we begin to enter our day, as we begin to do our work, and this is the reason that the virtual classroom show, the very first show, is talking specifically about how do we prepare to walk into the virtual classroom. I mean, think about a lot of the stuff that we used to do to walk into the concrete classroom, or to walk into our, you know, we'd fix up, we'd get dressed, we'd, you know, do whatever we do to prepare ourselves to go in. We had a routine in the morning, whether it was public transportation or driving or walking or whatever it happened to be. And we need to have that same sort of a process set up as we walk into our virtual classroom, whether we're teaching online, whether we're in a virtual situation in a library, whether we're in a college situation. What is our attitude? What are we bringing with us? Because the emotions that we bring into our classroom, into our work, are contagious. Incredibly, incredibly contagious. You've had that experience before. You're sitting around a table, maybe having dinner with your family, and we start talking about negative things, and then everybody starts to be more down, and we talk about positive things, and everybody's feeling more up. Our emotions are contagious. And so thinking about ways to help ourselves and to prepare ourselves to walk into our virtual situation is really, really important. And it's also something that we can be sharing with our students. Some of the things we can do I talk about owning the first hour of the day, but if it's the first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, the first, whatever it happens to be, do something for yourself. The first thing, a lot of us wake up first thing in the morning, and I've noticed myself doing that as soon as it started. You know, I'm on the phone. What's going on? You know, trying to read the news about what happened. I live in Lisbon, Portugal, and I'm an American citizen. And so when I wake up in the morning, a lot of stuff has happened in the United States since I went to bed the night before, and I want to look at it, and I have to remind myself to take a breath and slow down and do something for me, and do something to calm myself down, so that I don't just get into that routine immediately upon waking up. And then all of a sudden I'm taking that anxiety into the first hour with my kids, and my wife wakes up and I'm taking that anxiety into them, or wanting to talk about, did you see that article about, and it becomes something that feeds off of itself. And we start, if we start off like that, and we start off at that pace is going to continue or accelerate throughout the rest of our day. Pacing ourselves, giving ourselves an opportunity to breathe, giving ourselves an opportunity to relax, setting boundaries, setting positive goals for ourselves. I've become incredibly interested in cleaning our house in the last 2 months since we've been in lockdown. Now, I like to do it before, but it was only the kitchen. But now it's the entire house. And I think the reason why is because I feel like I have to get something done, and we don't have any carpet, so we just kind of have an electric broom, and I go around and I do all the floors, and that's kind of my main thing. And then I feel a sense of accomplishment. The Marines talk about it. The Marines Special Services guys and the SEALs talk about making the bed. That's the first thing you do in the morning. You set something up for yourself so that you feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel a sense of pride in yourself. And then you take that with you as you begin to enter into your day. And so processing your own feelings and checking yourself at the door before you walk into your virtual classroom or walk outside into the real world starting next week or the week after, whenever it begins to ease for you, is a really important part of understanding ourselves and then bringing our best self into the work that we're doing. And of the 30 or 31 of you that are participating right now, you're all coming from different backgrounds, a lot of different areas. How do I bring myself into what I'm doing? How do I bring myself out of the fear and the uncertainty that's kind of encompassing all of us? I do it by processing my thoughts, by taking care of myself, and by slowing myself down and bringing a really relaxed and focus pace into what I'm doing, because uncertainty is a sense that we understand what the future holds. We don't. We have no idea what it holds. And so the first thing I can do is just say, I'm going to take care of what I can take care of. I'm going to take care of what's right in front of me to do. I'm going to slow myself down. I'm going to create a routine that's going to help me to do that. And then I'm going to move into my day after I've processed those feelings. When it comes to talking to our students, whether you're in a virtual classroom, depending on how you're connecting with your students, hopefully a lot of you are able to connect with them in some way, shape, and form. If you're able to connect with them, and I want to talk about not being able to connect with them in just a second, but if you are able to connect with them, depending on their age and so forth, it's really important to be honest, because they are looking to you as a leader and as a guidepost to what's going on out there. There's a lot of information out there, some of which is fantastic, some of which isn't. And we need to be understanding of our role, either as a teacher or as an educator or as a leader in the community, of providing our students with a sense of, okay, yeah, what have you heard? What do you know? What have you talked about, and so forth? And then giving them the facts as we know them, or trying to get more information to share with them, and giving them an opportunity to speak and validating whatever it is that they're feeling, because right now they're feeling a lot. And the way that we're able to connect with them, and the way that we're able to talk to them as they're validating and going through these feelings, is really important as they continue to move forward. And I would offer to you that those of you that are out there concerned about content and whether or not the students are getting all the information that they need to continue to move forward, take a step back and think about the idea that if this is worse than 2008, what's the hurry? And if your students, like a lot of you, are in college, that means that they were in 2008, they were anywhere between the ages of 4 and 10 years old when that recession hit the world. And so now they are in their second economic downturn, if you want to call it that nicely. And they're looking at us and they're saying to us, and this goes to the students who are disengaged. A lot of teachers are asking me, how do I get someone engaged? They're not doing their work. They're not returning my calls. My feedback is, have you asked them what they think about the future? Because I've been interviewing a lot of kids and talking to a lot of kids about what's going on out there and what they think about that. And there's a real sense of foreboding and a real sense of, you know what, this whole idea of, go to college, get a job, work, and everything's going to be okay is kind of tenuous right now. And I think we have to be honest with ourselves and with our students when we talk about that and say, you know what, this is right now, we don't know what the next steps are, and we don't know how far this is going to go, how much it's going to influence what we're doing. And if you want to draw out those students who are disengaged and who've tuned out, try to connect with them around what they're thinking and say, what do you think about the future? Where do you think this thing's going to turn out? What do you think your goals are? And that 18 to 22-year-old group for you, for those of you in higher education, that's a very difficult time to reach a child. For the younger kids, for them, it's oftentimes difficult to just draw out some emotionality in them and get them talking about kind of some of the things that they're thinking about. And it's important that we try to do that. But with the older kids, talk to them about what they're thinking. What are their friends saying? What are they thinking? What are they reading? What are they seeing online in terms of their own groups and what they're saying to them about that? Give them some ideas to help them. One of the things that's been really helpful with a lot of the kids that I've been working with, and I'm working with a lot of kids, we're seeing a big uptick right now in cutting. We're seeing a big uptick right now in eating disorders. We're not seeing a big uptick in drugs and alcohol, and that may be because they don't have access to it. The lockdown may have prevented them from access to what they normally do to manage emotionality, but right now they have intense emotions and they're doing things to try to control that. So we're seeing a big uptick in that, and we're encouraging, and it seems to be working with the kids that I'm working with, to create a quarantine journal and get them writing. Get them talking about what they're feeling and expressing it in their own words. They don't have to read it to anyone. They don't have to share it with you if they don't want to, but encouraging them to start a writing process. And the way that you can help that is by having a thought each day in whatever format that you're using to connect with your students, whether you're sending information to them, you're connecting via a Skype or a Zoom call. Have kind of a thought question for the day and ask them to write about it, and make it something, you know, what challenges are you facing right now? What things are you finding hard to deal with? What things are you concerned about? What do you think about the future? What does the next 6 months look like to you? Any of these kinds of things that you can do to draw out your student, even if it's only for themselves, even if it's only personally for them. These are ways that you can get them to begin to become interested again, because right now this shutdown that we're seeing with so many kids, for those of you that are familiar with trauma, there's a number of different ways that kids deal with trauma, and all of us are in trauma right now, but there's several different ways, and one of the ways that they deal with it is disassociation, which is just basically to shut down. And in this situation, a lot of kids have just decided that this is a traumatic situation, I can't deal with it, so therefore I'm just going to turn it all off. And a lot of teachers take it personally and think it has something to do with them, and that's absolutely not the case. It has nothing to do with what you're doing, the work that you're doing, the effort that you're putting in, the product that you're putting out there. None of that has anything to do with it. This is a response to trauma. It's a response to loss. It's a response to grief. If you have older kids in the high schools, think about all the things that they're losing. High school sports, proms, graduations, summer sporting seasons, summer vacations, senior trips, any of these kinds of things. This is not a response to academics. This is a response to trauma. And understanding it from that perspective will take the weight off of your shoulders and put your motivation into reaching out to the student and seeing if you can connect with them around the ideas and the concerns that are affecting them. So I would encourage you to continue to do it if you can. I think this summer is a great opportunity. I'm going to stay in much closer touch than I normally do over the 6 to 8 weeks of the summer period of time with the schools I work with as well as the students, because this is not going to be a normal summer, and that's another thing we can be talking to our students about. As we begin to open up, that doesn't mean everything goes back to normal. One of you mentioned that you teach in first grade. I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we talked about the fact we might be able to go out next week and go back to the beach, and the first question they asked, can we see our grandparents? And we had to tell them no. Their grandparents are 82 and 83. They both have diabetes. One has a heart condition. It's not safe. And so it's important that we're letting them know and setting them up. Excuse me, it's just a cough, I promise. And setting them up with the information that they need to begin to deal with this situation and begin to understand and internalize it, because it's going to be really challenging, because a lot of them are going to think that it's over and that everything's going to go back to normal, and we're going to need to try to encourage them to continue to maintain some of the rules and some of the separation and those kinds of things. And for teachers that are going back, one of the biggest questions right now is, I love my kids. I want to be around my kids. I don't want to be, working in a jail until you go, wash your hands, don't touch him, sit over there, don't do this. And so much of what we're being asked to do right now is outside of what we're normally used to doing. And it's going to be difficult. So talking to them about it and why we're doing it. We need to stay separate. We need to still maintain our distance. We need to also take care of ourselves. We need to be washing our hands and coughing into our elbow and giving them some ideas that are working. And we need to do that with our own kids as well as we continue to move forward. As I said at the beginning, the basis for the virtual classroom show is connection before content. And right now, the most important thing we can be doing for the kids in our care, no matter what age it is that we are there with them and that we are being that leader, that trusted adult, that advisor that they care about, that is in their life and that is continuing to be in their life. And so bringing yourself into your work and bringing yourself into your classroom, and continuing to be okay with making mistakes, being okay with your kid yelling in the background or your cat walking in front of your Zoom screen, repeating ideas, sharing memories that you've had before, talking with hopeful language of when we get back together, when you're back here, this is going to be over. We are going to get through this, because we are going to get through this. No matter what, we're going to get through this. And I think as public leaders and hats off to all of you, because now the entire world is beginning to realize how important teachers are, not only as educators, but as a first line of defense in the safety net around our children. And a lot of you are concerned about kids that you know are not in safe situations, but you're also a trusted adult in the lives of these individuals. And use that pulpit and use that position to talk to your kids in positive ways. And when you're doing that, you're also helping yourself. You're also helping to manage your own uncertainty. You're doing what you can do in this moment. And that is all that anyone could ask you to do. Because first and foremost, it's about you and taking care of yourself and your family. Secondarily, taking care of your kids and doing some things that you can do. I would offer to you that the most important part of any interaction with either with your students or with any kind of online interaction was similar to what I did today. The first 5, last 5. You talk, get them involved, bring them into the conversation, unmute them one at a time, ask them a question, say something, have a positive, have them tell you something good. My wife and I started doing that with our kids. Tell me something good about today. What'd you like about today? To get them positive. If you have older kids, just asking them what's something that's working for you right now. But that first 5, the way that you enter into your virtual classroom, the way that you enter into your virtual online activities is really important. For those of you that have younger kids, I want to share with you really quickly the resource. This is a free resource that this is the work that I do. If I can get out of this, I'll share it with you. This is the work that I do for the younger kids. This is a K-12 resource called schooltoolstv.com. It's a daily 1-minute social skills, social emotional literacy. Right now we're focusing specifically on a lot of what's going on in the pandemic. So every day it's a 1-minute video that you can share. All of this is wide open. You don't have to join. You don't have to give us any information. But you go to the website and you can push this out to your kids. This week we're talking about finishing strong, but the videos are very simple. We have a K2 video. We have a video for the 3-7 kids, for the 3-7, 3-8 age group. And we also have a middle school, high school advisory video that talks about more complicated, figuring out your life puzzle and things like that. These videos are exactly 1 minute long. They're available to you anytime, schooltoolstv.com, if you want to share those with your kids. It's a nice way to start the first 5 or to finish the first 5, to be able to share with the students as a way of just kind of starting a conversation. We have a question at the end of every one of the videos. There's a question at the end that you can share with your kids. And you can use that as the question to really kind of connect with them, which I was talking about earlier and how important that is. But if that's a resource for you, please use it. And it's available, as I said before. So I'm going to stop the share now. And if you have a question, if you can do a thumbs up. I haven't been looking at the chat because I haven't quite figured out, and if anyone can tell me. Okay, let's see. We've got Vendela. If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. Vendela.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Since we are doing distance learning, is when you were mentioning getting kids to be engaged. So when you said about the videos, I think that's a good thing to start them out like that, give them something to look at, get their minds kind of pumping. I like that idea.
Okay.
Look at that. Great.
Go ahead.
Because I do like reading intervention and they get tired of reading. So looking at the video will be helpful.
Okay. And we're going to talk about that more on other episodes of the show, but allowing yourself to bring audio visual and bringing video into the situation right now. I know a lot of us as educators are a little standoffish on that, but right now there's so much great stuff out there. There's so many free resources. Use whatever you have available because yeah, I mean, maybe there's somebody that can read the book that you want to read online. Maybe the author's offering to read it online or somebody else is, and with an English accent. And I don't know why, but my kids are so excited when somebody reads with an English accent. So if you can find a video of a book that you want to read to your kids and instead of you reading it, you bring somebody else in with some background noise and some pictures and other things like that. Use all the audio visual right now to engage those kids and use it to the best extent. It's great, you know, definitely. But if my videos are helpful for you, take advantage of them. They're there for you to use. Anything you can use online, any of those. And again, Rusty at schooltoolstv.com. If you're looking for resources, I can find some stuff for you. Send me an email about what you're looking for, and I'd be happy to help out with that. Is that Lugman? I like Lugman down there with the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge behind him. That's I moved from San Francisco. That's my favorite. I live in Lisbon now. We've got the exact same bridge. It's really fun. Anybody else have any questions or comments to share?
Can you talk a little bit about screen time with kids? I'm a parent. I have 3 kids, and I'm just seeing this huge upsurge of screen time, which personally I don't think is really healthy. It seems like when my kids get off the computer, they're like hyper and aggressive, and it's hard for them to self-regulate. And you know, my daughter's doing Seesaw, and she's got this online math program, and then she's doing online reading, so she has had a huge increase in online screen, and she's only 6. She's in 1st grade. So I mean, all my kids are just doing way too much screen time right now, and it's really frustrating as a parent.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Patricia. I think there's a couple of different schools of thought on that. Number one, a lot of breaks. Number two, talking to them about their emotionality, because I would offer to you that maybe the frustration and some of the aggression and so forth that's coming out of that it may be coming from a place of frustration. I'm not sure that a lot of these educational platforms are doing anything to amp. It's not like playing a video game. I don't think that they should be coming out with that sense of that, but there may be a sense of frustration. There may be a sense that it's too much and they're trying to do too much. If you have a 6-year-old who's online for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours a day doing work, then I would tell your kindergarten teacher that thank you very much, but we're going to take that down ourselves, because whatever amount of work that they expect a kindergarten teacher to do, as a parent, you understand your kid, you know what they need, and your daughter is going to catch up. There's no way in the world that she's not going to catch up when it starts next year. So if they're trying to force this information through and saying that your daughter needs to be on there that long, that's a decision that as a parent you make and say, I would offer to you, I'm not telling you what to do as a parent, but you would say, you know what, I'm not, that's enough. A half hour is enough for my kid. In the homeschool world, when they think about working in a homeschool, they talk about enough curriculum in a particular day for a 6 to 8-year-old is about an hour, and that includes homework. So if there's online stuff that's going past that for a child that age, and you're seeing it's having an effect on your kid, then pull the plug on it. You know, again, it's your children aren't used to it. It's a complete change for them. They're not around their friends. They don't have recess time. All the things that they were looking forward to. They can't go outside. You know better than the teacher does. And if the teacher is concerned about a 6th grader getting all of their work done, I would offer to you that teacher needs to take this class, because they need to take a big giant step backwards, take a deep breath, and realize that it's connection before content, and it's certainly connection before content when it comes to a 6-year-old.
Thanks, Rusty. My middle schooler, he gets literally a whole entire plethora of tasks. He gets so overwhelmed. There's about maybe 4 hours of content a day that he's looking at. And I mean, it's great that the teachers are using digital tools like Edpuzzle and stuff, but he gets so bored listening to some of these videos that he just tries to skip through it so he can get it done. Yeah, so I think it's like all 3 of them. They're just like really bored and restless. I don't know if you talked about that.
Yeah, but you're in the same thing going to the high school kids in a homeschool environment. The high school that are doing high school homeschoolers are expected to do 3 to 4 hours of work a day, including homework. And if they're sending out videos that are longer than like 5 to 6 minutes, that's a bad video. And if the teacher's doing that video, that's a bad video. I do 1 minute daily videos for my kids, because you know why? It's 1 minute. And it's the minute is what normally, if you remember watching when we used to have Super Bowls, and all of a sudden there's a 2-minute commercial on there and everybody in the room's like, what's going on? Why is there, did somebody change the channel? They can't take it for that long. And if educators are trying to do that, that's one of the things that I want to talk about on this show for educators that are trying to push out video. they need to understand that less is more and less is more and less is more. And the kids will get the concept, just push it out in a much smaller packet. So you're right on, Patricia. I'm with you. And tell your son, keep skipping through it, get the information that he needs, and he should be able to finish his work in 2 hours, 2.5 hours at most.
Thanks. I just ordered a cow eyeball on Amazon because he had to watch a hour video on how to dissect a cow eyeball, and I was like, we're just gonna go and do it. It was only $8.50 if anybody wants a cow eyeball.
Please send us a video of that. That'll be fun. All right, Reba. Let's see. Can I unmute Reba? Reba.
Yes, I'm glad Patricia brought that up and then you making your comments. And I've seen that the teachers are feeling so much pressure from the principals, and I think they should also be in these sessions because I think nobody knows what to do. And they're pressuring the teachers, well, you need to get grades in, you get that. And some of the teachers that I've talked to, I said, do you have a set curriculum? And they're like, well, no. Okay, then why don't you try to do some of these other activities? Try to do some type of project. Have them build something. Why don't you do a science experiment in your kitchen and show them, but I think they don't know what to do. And so everybody's in there. And like she said, they're wearing the kids out. The kids are getting disengaged. Nobody knows what to do. And so I think that hopefully in September or in the summer, that schools are forced to go into some type of training like this because a lot of these kids really have become invisible online. A lot of kids are not even going on to the learning management system. So we've lost a lot of kids already. And like Patricia's children, they're losing some of the ones that are online. So I'm glad she brought that up, and hopefully schools start listening.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's kind of they're in a panic right now, right? Because online, and they're thinking about roll taking and whether or not that's the ADA, right? So are we getting average daily attendance? Are we getting our money that way? How are we going to get paid? And this kind of stuff. And you have administrators that are out there thinking that it's important to get this stuff done, completely missing the point that kids are learning such amazing skills just by being here in the first place. And so, yeah, as educators and as educational leaders, we need to be talking to people. And that's what this show is going to be about. We're going to be talking about these kinds of things and helping teachers to understand. And the other thing too is if your principal is going to fire you right now in the midst of this, is going to fire you. And I would honestly say to you, how many people are lining up out there right now to be teachers? I'm from the state of California, and we can't find teachers we couldn't find teachers before this happened. And so I'm saying, everybody in the state of California, if you're in California, it's like you can't even get substitute teachers to show up. So before this was all going on, people didn't want to be teachers. And now in this situation, and administrators are acting as if they've got this hammer that they're holding over the heads of the teachers saying they have to do all this stuff. And I would offer to you that the administrators are just scared too. And everybody is dealing with the uncertainty. Everybody's uncomfortable and scared. And the best thing you can do is and this is so true because this is what teachers have been doing for years. They have been saying, in my experience, yes, I will do that, shutting the door to their classroom and doing what they know is best for their students. And take that back and take that power back right now. Connecting with your kids right now is the most important thing. Helping them to deal with their fears, helping them to manage their unsafe environments. How many kids do we know for a fact are in an unsafe environment? How many kids do we know for a fact that are in an abusive or a challenging environment where one or both parents are under duress? And the calls to domestic violence hotlines and child abuse hotlines have gone way down. What's that mean? I can't leave. So therefore, I'm not going to make these calls anymore. And so we know what's going on out there. And the real cost of this situation from an educational point of view is not going to be the grades in next year or the year after that. It's going to be the effect that it has on these kids. And as leaders in the educational community, we need to make sure that our people that are above us, not leaders, but people that are above us, are hearing that and that they're hearing that message loud and clear. This is about the kids. This is about what they need right now. It's not about what your administrator needs. And it's, as parents, it's about what the parents need to be doing to make sure that their kids feel safe and secure. And if it's boring and it's no fun, order an eyeball online. Figure it out, and thank you, Patricia, for doing that. Some of us don't have the resources to make that real, but still, we have to continue to push the envelope. Whoever's telling us they know what's going on is not telling us the truth. And we need to make sure that we are leading this. We are leading this, and that we are the front lines in this. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. And I hope you guys will join us on the show in the days to come as we talk about some of the more of this stuff. And if you have ideas, I will look at the chat. I'm sorry I can't do that in real time, but I will look at the chat. If there are questions that I can answer, hopefully I can contact you and get back to you, or I can contact Steve. I don't know how that'll work, but anyway, I'll bring up those questions in future episodes. Does anybody have any other questions before we shut down for the day? We're almost at that hour point. Anybody else that wants to share? Lugman, can I bring you in just because I want to know where you're from and what you're doing?
Yeah.
How are you? Are you an educator, a teacher? I'm Lugman. Educator and entrepreneur, edupreneur. All right, that's what I thought. He's got an edupreneur. Could you please share your resource? I will share my resource with you, sir. He's from Nigeria. Thank you very much. All right, any other okay, we got a question here from Howard.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I joined late, but I'm intrigued. My question is, you mentioned that you're going to be doing a show, which sounds like you're going to be doing whatever you're doing regularly. Can you just tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, we'll be here every week, same time, same channel. Every week we'll be doing this. So I don't know what time zone you're in, but we will be doing this at the same time. For me, it's 3 p.m. On the East Coast. I guess it's 10 p.m. in the United States. Where are you, Howard?
New York, Philadelphia area. So it's about 11 in the morning now.
Okay, so yeah, it would be 10 o'clock your time, 3 o'clock our time. Good. Yeah, we moved here from Delaware. That's where we are. Are you close? Where are you, close to Philly?
I'm up north near Princeton.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Anyone else before we go for today? All right, thank you all very much for all that you're doing. It's amazing work. I feel very fortunate to have an opportunity to talk to you. And like I said, we'll be here every week at the same time that this show started, the virtual classroom show. I'm Rusty May. Please check out schooltoolswithanstv.com if you want to see our videos. And Lugman, I will send that to you. So, and I'll share that with the other people that are asking as well. Thank you, guys. Have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.